So I am somebody who's vocal. I am somebody who likes to talk. I am somebody who loves to travel, and I'm somebody who wants to show to the world that diabetes doesn't stop you; it only makes you stronger. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction. We have not formally sat down and had a conversation. Every conversation that I have across this platform are fully organic, meaning it's not planned, it's not written out, there's no script behind it, because I just love joining with people and just having these conversations because I know that there are little boys, little girls, parents out there in the world that truly need to hear from the perspective of others so that they know that they are not alone. Like, we live with
100%.
type 1 diabetes, but we are not the only one. And for a vast majority of us, for a while, we do feel as though we're the only ones until we're able to escape and get invited into these communities and these spaces.
I completely agree. That is one of the reasons why I started my Instagram platform because when I was growing up in India, so I got diabetic when I was 10 years old, and I had nobody to kind of talk to, look up to. I didn't know any other diabetic person, nothing. So many of the things that I did, which I thought that I'm doing wrong as a bad diabetic, which have gotten really worse over the years in some ways, when my lows happen, but they have gotten validated through this community that I've built now on my page and also through, several groups that I follow in America and Australia. And because I've lived in Australia, I've lived in America, I've lived in Dubai, I've lived in all these places to know that there is a lot of us suffering from this. But we're all together and nothing that we're doing is wrong because we give ourselves the best we possibly can on that day. But having a community changes your life. It really, really helps validate every single thought. The funniest was, and I want to mention this specifically because this is something that I thought I was crazy that I did. So I've been on pods. I've been on a Omnipod and a Dexcom for several years now, and I would try to time the day or the time where I could be off both of them so I could go take a shower because most of my showers don't feel like in a way, for lack of a better word, a truly naked shower. And somebody talked about it on Instagram like a couple of weeks ago. And I was like, oh my God, I thought I was alone in this. But then I realized, no, you're not alone in this because thoughts you have as a diabetic, most other diabetics are also having at the same time. And a community really helps validate you more than anything else.
It truly does. That naked shower, people don't truly understand that, like, because we know with the technology that we wear, anytime like we do something, we're like, is it okay?
Yeah.
We know because
Did
of
I did it rip off? Did something happen?
right. And even when we sleep, like we gotta avoid sleeping on top of like the sensors so we won't have a
Yeah.
compression low and everything. And um that naked shower, we don't even realize again until we're in that moment, like, wow, like I don't have to go around or like
Yeah.
there's no bumps and
Yeah.
valleys, like because we know living with diabetes, living with type 1 diabetes, like everything is filled with bumps, valleys,
Yeah.
roller coasters, highs, lows, and that shower, that naked shower, you're free.
It feels so good.
You're free. Even though at times sometimes we might have to reach out and grab like a drink or a candy. But
Yeah.
and that's a whole nother
In my
topic.
case, it ends up being I have to take an immediate shot after because my body doesn't do very well without basil. But
Right.
yeah, in my case, it's like, okay, Kira, you gotta just like get the stuff on now. But
Mhm.
I enjoy my 10 minutes, but it's okay.
Right. You deserve that 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And look, you said you have it all planned out, right? You have to have it in your calendar. Like,
Yeah, you literally do. You gotta like, oh, so I have 24 hours left on this Dexcom, and I have
mhm.
about these many units left. If I just plan it right, I could get the moment. And there have been days when I've actually like not showered in the morning and then showered in the evening just because I knew I could have a naked shower. So it's stupid, to an external person, it's stupid, but to us, it makes sense, and at the end of the day, that's who it's gotta make sense to.
Right to you. So, Keerat, while I'm recording these episodes, I always think about show titles. And
Okay.
always want them to be attention getters. So first I have wrote down Globetrotter and Trendsetter, but I have to nix that because nothing right now is defeating or going above Naked Shower.
Oh my
Like,
God, my family will kill me. We cannot do that.
oh, you got to talk. Look, we're going to go through this conversation, but look, that's there. I'm like,
Okay, listen, I'm a very funny person, so you might end up getting a few more out of me. So
I
don't worry
get
about
you.
it.
I
But we
get
gotta
you.
talk about this title.
It's just look, I'm recording well, I have an episode that I recorded a couple months ago that's coming out shortly, today, matter of fact, with a young lady whose family is from Argentina. And throughout the episode she kept talking about love, 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 love. And then she was talking about her longboard, like she loves riding her longboard. So her title is what is it? It's called a love board long story, a love board love story, like
Oh, that is cute. That is cute.
yeah.
Trust me, we got an hour here. You'll get a lot of
Look,
content out of me. Don't worry.
we
My
got it.
manager tells me I am a pile of content constantly, so I'm not worried about you finding a new title. It's fine.
Right. Right. And that's amazing because we need little boys and little girls who are newly diagnosed to be able to see someone like yourself because it helps them able to not only accept, but then be able to explore.
Yeah,
Because even though you live with type 1 diabetes, you're still able to travel abroad. Again, be this globetrotter and trendsetter. You're vocal about everything. Like,
yeah,
it's me. This is all of me. Like, I'm not hiding it. Like,
yeah,
you've lived in Australia, Dubai, America. Like, there's nothing that living with diabetes has actually stopped. May have hindered some things, may have paused some things, taken a little break. You had to reverse, rewind, and relearn you, but
yeah.
you're still able to grow.
But I am going to point something here, and this is for all diabetic parents, families, support systems. I swear to God, I would not be able to do half the things that I do today without the support system that I have. Touch wood, which, my parents, my brother, a few of my very close friends, I'm not gonna lie, they are everything to me. And the reason I am enabled to do so much is because I have a really good support system. And funnily enough, that we can segue into like we were talking about what I am and who I am. I lived in America pretty much since COVID nonstop till last year, which is when I moved back to India. And one of the reasons for moving back was that while my doctors were great, the medicines are fabulous, my Omnipod, Dexcom, I go see my doctors, all of that. But my support system was here. And I realized how much of my life was lacking because I didn't have my support system there. So, some of us, touch wood, are blessed with good support systems. Some of us have to build those support systems for us. But it is very crucial to have and to know and to acknowledge that you need that, because without that, life is going to be hard. I'm not going to lie.
Without that, life will be more than hard.
Yeah.
We know that because with this diagnosis of type 1 diabetes, it's almost like an infancy. It's like a
Yeah.
being born again.
Yeah.
And your parents, your family, the ones who love you most, they see that. They Everything they do is directed or around that, like
Yeah.
making sure you're well and cared for.
Yeah.
So like in this podcast, I do give the opportunity to gift flowers to those that love us most, our support systems. And one thing I can tell you, Kirat, is that I've recorded with I think 4 or 5 people from India so far, and the family dynamic that I've seen and represented is
Uh-huh.
dynamic. Like it's wholesome, like truly. Like
Yeah,
you may have your inner bickerings at home, like, but
100%.
in the end, you come together, you pull
Yeah,
from every resource available to make sure that everyone is good. Not just Kirat,
100%.
but her brother, her
Yeah,
cousins,
yeah,
everyone is
yeah,
good. If
yeah,
I succeed, you succeed, we
yeah,
succeed. Like you said, you have a family business because y'all
yeah,
succeed together.
yeah,
And yes, I want to give flowers to specifically your parents, your brother, and to
yeah.
yourself.
Thank you.
Because little Kirat at 10 years young, not
Yeah,
10 years old, at 10 years
10 years,
young,
yeah. Yeah,
the life for everyone in your household changed.
100%, 100%. I still remember when I got the diagnosis, it was about I'd actually probably had diabetes for about 2.5, 3 months at that point, but we I was too scared of a blood test and I didn't do it. And then we finally got the blood test and my sugars were like 700 plus, something like that, fasting. And I didn't know what diabetes was. I'm 10 years old. I'm in like not even middle school, fifth standard, fourth standard, something like that, fourth standard.
Hmm.
And we've come home from the hospital. I'd just gone meeting some people. I was in my grandparents' house, in not even in Delhi, and we came, and everybody's like, "You can't have sugar." And I was like, what do you mean you can't have sugar? Everything we eat turns into sugar because we had just learned in science in school that no matter what you put, turns into sugar in your body. So you're telling me a foodie cannot eat anymore? Like, what are you going on about, right? And like I had no idea what that was. And more than me, my mom was in a bigger shock because for my mom, it was just like you go to the hospital, you get fixed, you come back home. There's no like coming home with something, right? And I was hospitalized for about a week, and that was just, I guess, probably the hardest time for my mom. And I realized pretty much on the get go that, listen, Kirat, you gotta like take control of this disease or else your family will like really like not be okay. And I started like taking injections pretty much at like 11 years old. And most of my management has been in my hands since I was like 11 and a half, 12, maybe 13. Thankfully, I've had the privilege of being on pumps. I've had the privilege of like, being able to afford medicine. And in India, one of the biggest problems is that most kids cannot afford the medicine that is needed. Because if you're living in a metropolitan city, you have the bandwidth, you have the resources, you can do that. So when I established my care in Delhi, once we came back from my grandparents' town, my mom asked my doctor that, like, I know we can afford insulin for our daughter and we can afford like the medication, but what about others? And the doctor told us that there's so many kids who cannot. And, that's when my mom started sponsoring kids, making sure that like they are taken care of. And then I started counseling kids because somehow my doctor at the time felt that I'd taken the disease very well because I took it on as like, okay, this has happened. There's nothing I can do about it. I can either live with it or I can be grumpy about it, right? So I just learned to live with it. And I wasn't really grumpy about it until like a little bit last year. But other than that, I've been pretty good with like being like, okay, this is what it is. And frankly, today I'm 10 days away from my 30th birthday. So it's going to be 2 decades of being diabetic. And I don't know life without it. But one thing I do know is that it's made me much stronger than I would have been if I didn't have diabetes, to be very, very honest with you. Sorry, that was a little bit of a rant.
No, no, good. First off, happy early birthday.
Thank you.
30th birthday.
Yeah.
20 years lived with type 1 diabetes.
Yep.
You're meeting a bunch of milestones this year.
I am. I really am.
You really are. I did want to go back. 10-year-old you were talking about your mom and how she was so used to being a mother,
Yeah.
like nurturing her child. Um, Child needs help with something in school. Let me help her with that. Um, she's going to be in a play or show or whatever. I'm going to help and support.
Yeah.
Baked goods, all of those things. Mom was
Yeah.
there, right?
Yeah.
Here she is, 10 years, here you are 10 years young. You get this diagnosis, and mom's like, okay, she got this diagnosis. There was fear right there at the start, but once you leave the hospital, you're like, okay, now we heal. Living with type 1 diabetes is healing every single day,
Yeah.
and sometimes healing multiple times per day.
Yeah.
There's a something we spoke about even before I think it was before I started recording was a misunderstanding of living with type 1 diabetes where many people feel as though when someone tells them, oh, you have this chronic health condition forever, that even though the medical people say it's forever, you're like, but we've been through so much already. It can't get any worse. So let's go home and fix this.
Yeah.
There was no fixing for your mother. And
Yeah.
at that time, there were no support groups for your mother. And our parents of children living with diabetes, they are second to none.
Yeah.
Second to
100%.
none. And they truly deserve the opportunity to be able to have those conversations also
Yeah.
with each other, peer groups, see therapists, psychologists upon that diagnosis, but because no one tells you, no one told her that your whole brain is going to get rearranged, reworked,
Yeah.
rewired, reframed. No one told your brother that all this attention would be directed towards you.
Yeah.
No one told your father that you think you're a man now. Like,
He actually gave me my first shot.
see, you think you're a man
Yeah.
now. Like,
Yeah. It
now
was
you,
really hard. It was really hard on him. I know that much. He might pretend it was not, but it really was not. And, I think one of the biggest memories I have from that year, I don't have a lot, but I have very specific things. And we as a family love mangoes, and Indian mangoes are like, oh my God, right? And
oh, I
mango is
wish you
my
could ship me one, but I wish you could ship me one, but
I
that's
will. I will.
impossible.
I will try. I will try and get them to you.
Good.
But so as a family, we love mangoes, and the summer mangoes are just like, oh, phenomenal, right? And now I know how to bolus for them. I know how to like manage my macros and just be able to like have mangoes. Now I enjoy mangoes. But the first 2 years of me being diabetic, no mangoes came into the house. No mangoes, no lychees. Because mangoes and lychees were my favorite fruit. And no, but I mean, I'm sure they all had it outside at some point or the other. But for like 2 years, there was no mangoes, no lychees in my household allowed whatsoever. And then the third year onwards, I kind of started learning that, you know what, Kirat, you could bolus for this. And it was bad at that time, but then eventually it got better. And then I tried Nutella at 21, which was like, oh my God, why did I do this to myself?
You say you tried it in 2021.
Yeah, I know I tried Nutella when I was 21, which
Oh,
was
okay.
2009 years ago. How
2016.
2016, yeah, sorry, my math is not mathing right now. But yeah, 2016 was the first time I tried Nutella. And then I was like, I have been missing out on a whole damn genre of food. And since then, like, obviously being on the Omnipod and the Dexcom is like a life savior. So, everything is easier. Like right now, I know my Dexcom's beeping, but I know it'll manage itself. I don't have to like, worry about it. I can drink without stressing about it. That's one of the other genres that has opened up with the Dexcom and the Omnipod working together, wherein, you drink and you're not that worried about either a low or a high because it'll kind of be managed well. So yeah, it's good progress. Technology is helping us live better lives today.
Right, that technology you just mentioned, that Dexcom and Omnipod, it helps with a lot of the micromanaging that we
Yeah.
used to do, like
Yes.
giving those small doses or trying to stop our basal while we're running low. Like it automatically does that. And if somebody would have told us this 5 years ago, we would have been like, yeah, right.
What?
Like never, never.
That's not happening. Like you're telling me I'm gonna have an artificial pancreas like pretty much on me? Not happening, and then it's happening.
Right, not happening because you remember 10 years young. Um, like you said, you were what, fourth, fifth grade and
Yeah.
um going back to school. I
Don't
always
even get me
ask people who are
started.
diagnosed around that age about going back to school because typically when someone's out, like I don't know if you were on holiday or what time of year it was, but
Yeah.
typically when someone's out of school, there's all this chatter going on. Kira got diabetes. Kira got this. Kira got that. She's in a hospital. She's dying. How was that?
So I had a unfortunate couple of years when I was in, I think fourth standard is considered middle school, I guess, right? Middle school, early school, whatever.
Uh,
So I didn't have a lot of friends between third, fourth, and fifth. I was bullied quite a lot. This is not something that I talk about very often. It's only like my inner circle now, and if they know, they know. Otherwise, it's not something that I've even spoken much about in on Instagram, which
mm,
hopefully at some point I will get to. But so I was bullied a lot. I didn't have a lot of friends. So when I got back to school, I started making friends not in my, so in India, it works a little differently than in the US. You have sections and all your teachers come to your class rather than you going to the class. And the only classes you go for are either PE or art. Other than that, all the teachers come to your class, and that's your section. So I was in section A in a different school, and then I started making friends with the B section people because my class people would bully me for whatever reason from before me getting diabetic as well. But obviously, it amplified after I got diabetic. Whereas these kids from the other section ended up becoming so kind to me and really nice, and we ended up building a really nice friendship, and I'm actually still friends with a couple of them today, which is amazing. And then I changed schools in sixth standard. So right when I was starting to build friendships and build like a persona of being okay, I shifted schools and I went to Gurgaon, which is where like my family home is now. And thankfully, I built a lot of good friendships there. But again, I was bullied because of diabetes and because I've always been quirky and I've always been very, this is who I am, take it or leave it sort of a thing, which now has really amplified. But in your teenage years, you're still starting to like experiment with those things. And I guess a lot of people weren't okay with that energy of me being so positively loving towards myself. And again, I was bullied a lot in this new school, and everybody would start being like, "Why is Keerat allowed to carry a cell phone?" And it wasn't a cell phone; it was a insulin pump that was attached to me, but it had to be visible. So there was all of that. But then I started building on friendships and people, and started really finding my tribe, and thankfully most of those people who were my tribe are still friends with me today, and people who have been so kind towards me in terms of managing my diabetes. Like if I go to a party, the first thing, if I'll say that okay, I'm not drinking today, the first question is, oh, are you okay? Like, is something going on? Can we help in any other way? Or if we've been to school trips, I know we went on a school trip in like seventh standard, which is when I first openly talked about being diabetic, other than from like my immediate 5, 6 people who really knew. I sat down in a group of almost what, 50 kids, and I cried and I said, I have type 1 diabetes and this is a part of my life, and you guys bully me with it and it's not okay. I had the courage to kind of say that. And it's so funny. I haven't talked about this in years. Like, oh my God, it's taking me back to so many memories. But yeah, so school is hard because kids are, for lack of a better word, mean. I would have used a much worse word, but since we're recording, I don't want to. But kids are mean. And today, who I am as a person started back then, because I was always very body positive, very loving towards myself. But then there was all these elements that would take me away from it, right? In school, it's, your friends or the people around you. When you get to college or like, working, it's sometimes guys who do it to you. Like, for me, if I date somebody, they pull your energy down. So what I'm really trying to say with this, Will, is that there are always going to be people who pull you down, but it's how strongly you pull yourself back up that'll really define you. And at the end of the day, diabetes is hard. There is no denying that. And I wish the world was a kinder place to everybody, but they're not. So you have to be kind to yourself and you have to know who you are as a person and then grow from that. Yes, thumbs up to that.
Look, and I don't know where that thumb came from. But yeah, you just spoke a lot to the people who are living with chronic health conditions, people who are being treated unfair, unjust, to people who don't even know that they're treating others that way
Yeah.
and being insensitive to others. Um,
Yeah.
but you just told a lot to them and spoke directly towards them because
Mhm.
of your own lived experience. And that will aid and help in those people who are currently living through that, gifting them a better understanding of even though someone is treating you a certain way,
Yeah.
you can still be you. You don't have to be a part of one group setting. Explore if you
Yeah.
are able to and find your people. If you are treating people a certain way, just know that it is hurting them and you don't want to be hurt. So why would you choose that route? No one wants
100%.
to, no one wants to feel bad. No one purposely wants to feel bad. But yeah, you just spoke to a whole community of people out there. And I know that was a moment of vulnerability for you. I can see it in you. I can feel how passionate you are about that. And when you first started, I said, Kira's not gonna, I was like, I could feel her heart. I was like, I could feel the nerves. I said, is she about to tear? And I could feel that because I've had many conversations with people, and when you're living with a chronic health condition that others don't understand, and you know that you spent your entire life trying to understand it on your own, really, like you've tried to understand it, you know that other people dealing with other issues and concerns, whether it's mental health, physical health, like you said, bullying, like it's something that we need to understand.
Yeah. And bullying also, like, more towards people with chronic health conditions, right? And I guess children are the worst bullies. And the funny thing is, I ended up being best friends with my bully for the longest time. And
Was it
you
like
end
keep
up
your
telling
enemies
your,
close?
I wish I knew that back then, honestly. So the thing is, you have to understand that there are going to be people. I've had a lot of really bad bullying experiences, and I haven't talked about it in a very long time. I guess my therapist has a new topic to unlock. But having said that, each experience also makes you better, stronger, more willing to fight the world, and that's what you have to do. You have to fight through the pain, because nobody else is coming to rescue you. You are all you got. And one of the things that you did touch upon, as diabetics, we end up becoming micromanagers with, this, we have to bolus here, we have to do this. What people don't realize is we also end up becoming micromanagers in life. So I am a control freak when it comes to a lot of things in my life. My mom hates that I'm not a control freak when it comes to my bedroom, because it's always a mess. But when it comes to life decision, when it comes to people decisions, and especially when it comes to food decisions, right? And that ends up being hard with a partner, because your partner or your friends or anybody has to understand that coming with diabetes, when you specifically crave something, that is when you specifically crave that food. And it's a very hard choice to kind of accept, right? So be wise in choosing your tribe, guys. That's my biggest learning from the last 1 year, if it can be, is choose your tribe wisely, because they will make or break you. Because that did happen to me. My tribe broke me. My tribe really broke me. And then, touch wood, I've spent the last year rebuilding up in with a tribe that supports me. That's not breaking me. And especially when it comes to dating, that is another really hard ball game. When it comes to having best friends who can be toxic, that's also there. So you have to really manage all of that on top of managing your diabetes, if you want to be able to live with it in a fun way.
Because you did mention have leaving the United States to get back to your tribe.
Yes.
Yes. You left a tribe here to go
I
back
do
to
have,
your, go ahead. You do
sorry, go
have,
ahead,
I
continue.
was saying you left a tribe here to get back to your foundation tribe.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I have friends. I have people in America who are near and dear. In fact, one of them is flying down for my birthday, which is like the sweetest thing anybody's ever done for me.
Mhm.
But having said that, I was dating somebody very toxic, and somebody who was fat shaming me, who was not okay with my diabetes. There was a lot of those nuances as well. And then somehow that tribe never really became my tribe, like people who really value me above the social status I bring or the other things that I bring. Whereas in India, what I have seen is not just my parents and my family, my uncles, aunts, my cousins,
Mhm.
all of that, but even the friends that I have here. Some of them are like childhood friends, like we've grown up together. Most of my friends are actually scattered all over the globe, because we've all traveled. I've lived in multiple countries, so there's a lot of that. But then there's people in Delhi, in Gurgaon, who really appreciate me for my energy, for what I bring to the table. And there's no ask of me. There's no, we're just exchanging energies. We're there for each other because we're exchanging energies. There's nothing more to it and there's nothing less to it, right? Whereas in America, what ended up happening was everything was very transactional. And that's kind of why I love India now, is because, yeah, sure, there will be people who are transactional and you have to learn to be transactional with them. But there are people who will really just be with you for and that's the people you have to identify. And those are the people you stick with.
I was just having a conversation with someone in India last week. I recorded with, and we were talking about how living with type 1 diabetes, it was a joke. It was like, we don't know if it's because of the insulin we take or what, but we all are empathetic, like
Yes,
truly empathetic towards others and everything. Like we empathize with them. We don't push our agenda. We don't compare like, oh, like when someone tells them about like issues they're going through, we don't be like, but when I went through this, or no, we
yeah,
just truly sit down, we listen, we help in that
100%.
healing. We like that's what we do. And
100%.
there's no transaction involved. Like at all.
Yeah.
I did want to speak on relationships. I know that living with type 1 diabetes over the last 20 years has affected relationships. If it hasn't, then you haven't been living with it. Like, whether that's family, friends, co-workers, employees, associates, relationships and dating. Um, how has diabetes affected those things?
It's so funny that you asked that because, um, funnily enough, diabetes didn't affect most of my friendships or my other relationships really at all. Just actually, most of my friends were more empathetic and understanding with, low blood sugar. So they would fetch something for me and be nice because I'm always a klutz. Like when I need that chocolate in my bag, I don't have it. And my brother also being very mindful of it. Like when my sugars would crash, he would like go a little berserk, like what to do. Now everybody knows how to manage it, but in the beginning and also over the years. But romantic relationships, I'm not gonna lie, do get affected. But the root cause of that effect actually starts within us because in India, unfortunately, and I don't know if this is the thing in America, but in India for sure, um, a girl being diabetic and being plus size is looked down upon in the sense of like, she's not perfect. She's not, one of the first things that was said when I got diabetic at the age of 10 was, how will she get married now? And I was 10 years old. I was 10 years old and I heard like a grandparent make this comment. And I know that they make this comment just because out of whatever they've learned. I'm not blaming them for this thought.
Mhm.
It's somehow what's been around.
Yeah.
So what ends up happening is that psychologically you are already thinking that, oh, I'm not good enough. So if somebody is giving me 5%, I have to give back 30% or like 100%, that kind of a thing, whether it's in romantic love or in friendships or in whatever. And I am, as a person, a giver. So I end up giving a lot more into my friendships, into my relationships, into everything. And now in the last 1 year, I've really realized that that comes back to bite me because me being diabetic and me being plus size is not the only thing that I have to offer to a person, right? I have my energies, I have the way I talk, I have the way I engage, I have the way I love above everything else. And that's really all that should matter in a relationship. And unfortunately, that's not true. I I'm pretty vocal about it. I've had a very serious relationship break away because I was considered not worthy in terms of my size by the person's family, and because of being diabetic was another hindrance, so to say. And honestly, it did affect me. I'm not even gonna lie that it didn't affect me. It 100% affected me. It was one of the major reasons for a lot of mental breakdowns while I was in America, because this did happen in America.
Mhm.
You know, so diabetes plays a huge role in how you kind of see yourself, and then you allow others to see you in that light. Like I allowed a lot of people to disrespect me because I thought that, I am not worthy. And that unworthiness comes from a societal thinking of like, something's wrong with me and something's not okay. But by God's grace, like I'm living a much fuller life than a lot of people. I have opportunities that, I know for a fact are a blessing towards me. And it really affects you for as long as you let it affect you, and then you realize, no, this is not for me. And then I never thought that guys in India actually are going to be so progressive and so chill.
Mhm.
And now that I'm starting to like speak to people to see, because I am looking to get married and I want to kind of see what's out there. And
Mhm.
approaching 30, so there is all of that. And it's amazing to me that how much more progressive people in India are versus Indians abroad, so to say. And one of the funniest stories actually happened very recently, wherein I went on a date with another diabetic person by chance in India. And that was quite shocking. It didn't turn to be anything. We became friends, and that it didn't work out for other several reasons. But it was quite interesting to actually go out on a date with another diabetic person and just kind of, one thing he said that really stuck with me was, this opens up a whole new genre of jokes that you can't crack with anybody else, which is so true, because some things you just get with your, another diabetic friend. And thankfully, I have a few diabetic friends now, so I can manage that. But for this person, I was the first person they ever met who was diabetic, which was quite hilarious. But this thing is a very common feeling towards in diabetic people in Indians, because a guy from New York actually who was diabetic connected with me, I think, through one of the diabetic platforms last year. And he kind of resonated with this whole thought of, like, being not worthy because you're diabetic. Whereas I feel like being diabetic actually might make me just more worthy, because how empathetic, how loving, and how caring I can be towards another person, nobody else can be, because I know what it feels to go through something painful on a daily basis.
Right. You go through this all the time. I'm going to let you know this, Kira. You didn't meet that guy in India that was diabetic by chance. Diabetes in India,
Yeah,
number one region in the
in the
world.
world.
In
Yeah.
the world.
No, but it was funny because he matched on Hinge. That's
The
why it was funny.
diabetic gods were like, y'all may not need to be in a relation, y'all may not need to be in a relationship, but y'all need to meet up and know each other. Like,
I think he needed me in that moment. I'm a very firm believer of the fact that, like,
mhm,
there are times when people need you, and this happens to me quite often, wherein I'm introduced to somebody and in whatever capacity, and thankfully I know what they need in that moment in terms of introspection or understanding or just anything, right? And I think I gave this person what he needed, and we kind of cut ties because there were other things that happened that were not good.
mhm.
So we're not really friends anymore. But having said that, I think I gave him what he needed in that moment, and I'm okay with that.
So I know we're new to getting to know one another, but communities is what I do. Like I have
Okay.
communities all around the world, and I run, I think now close to 11 different type 1 groups,
Oh,
and
wow.
all about like I've started building one for India on Instagram because
Sure.
I've met so many people from India that are type 1 diabetics, and I know
Okay.
like y'all need that community.
Yeah,
Y'all
we
need
do. We
that.
really do.
And so yeah, with my communities, like we have meetups, we have gatherings, but we also have like where you can just drop into a chat and just bring up any topic and people relate to it, whether it's diabetes related or just lived experience in life, because we know everything we do, diabetes is a part of that. So
Yeah.
yeah, communities is my thing, and I wish.
I'd be happy to participate, and I'd be happy to run rooms and groups for you too if that is something that you are interested in. Because trust me, this is fun for me. Like, I enjoy doing this. I do events for like fun. So if you are looking for somebody to like work
Mhm.
around that, I'd be more than happy to.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll build the group and I'll leave you as the person who runs it. Like that's your group.
Yeah. Love
Yeah.
it. Love it.
Community means everything for us.
Yeah.
And people outside of us, they don't understand it. Like when we talk about it so much and we talk about the community, they're like, why are you talking about diabetes like that? Like, because it's everything we do. Like,
Yeah.
it's, and I had jotted down something right here, and it just says amazing, and it's circled because, Kira, you need to know this. You're amazing.
Thank you.
You're amazing. Little Kira, 10 years young, when you get a chance, look in the mirror and look at her. think about the 20 plus years, these experiences you've had where you were put into a position early on that you didn't ask for, you didn't want. For many years, you wish you could just take it out with the trash and leave it, and it never comes
Yeah,
back. But it's like recycled. It's not trash. It's recycled because it keeps coming back to us, even though when we don't want it. Um, but yes, you through these experiences, it's helped you mature.
yeah,
It's helped you in learning not to accept any disrespect,
yeah,
not to
100%.
not to accept anything less.
That is, if I have learned the one thing in these 2 decades of being diabetic, now I can say it finally after like 20 some
I
years of
know.
it. No disrespect. That is the one thing I will not tolerate because I give in so much to the world, and sure, the world has given me hell and then some to deal with. But one thing I don't give back is disrespect, because when you are diabetic, you end up being empathetic. That is, that it just becomes a part of your personality, like you very rightly said, right? And if I am that empathetic, one thing I don't deserve is disrespect. So, yeah, 100%.
100% because I changed the show title because through
What is it now? From
the
naked
entirety
showers too?
nah, the entirety of this conversation, I've been smiling, and mentioned something probably about 40 minutes ago, and it was about mangoes. And I was like, if you could, like, I want some of those mangoes because, like, my family loves mangoes, and they're not the same. Like, we know when we go to like different islands and stuff how they taste different, but you're talking about these Indian mangoes, and I was like thinking about like how amazing you are, how sweet you are, and then I was like diabetes and sweet. I said she's the sweetest mango. Like this title,
Oh,
like
this is so sweet.
yeah, like so that's what I have down here. Sweetest mango.
See, I told
Like
you we still have some time to go. You might come up with something new. I'm
yeah,
very entertaining.
you are very entertaining. I do want I must ask like you have a brother, right? What's your
Yes.
age? What's your age difference?
He's 2 years younger than me.
2 years younger than you. So
Yeah.
he knows, he only knows you with diabetes. Really,
Yeah.
really.
He doesn't know. In fact, funnily, I don't know myself without diabetes.
Mhm,
It's not just him. I think everybody around me, because 10 is pretty young, it's
right.
really young. You're still like what? Just developing your brain,
Mhm,
really. Forget your height or anything. Your brain is still not there. So him, my parents, me, everybody, my family, my grandparents, my cousins, everybody really just knows me being diabetic. Nobody really knows me without it. In fact, some of my cousins, like, because in India, families are very close, were
mhm.
actually born after I got diabetic. In fact, one of them's birthday is today, and she's one of my younger cousins, and she was born the year after I got diabetic.
Yeah, that's all they know.
Yeah.
Um, so to your brother, it may like because I hear from a lot of siblings that for their sibling who's not diabetic, they feel as though they may have been a huge burden or taken from them. But you being diabetic is all your brother knows. So the adapting to certain situations is all he knows. And that may have helped him in his growth in adapting in different situations in life because y'all may have gotten into a car and be like, we're going here, had to turn around because forgot the insulin, forgot whatever device. And he's like, that may have helped train him in life to, I mean, you expect one thing, but things can always
Yeah.
change. And it doesn't mean it's changing for the worse because you may, like, you're good for him. Like, you're one of the best things that ever happened to
I
your
hope he will.
family.
I hope he listens to this.
Yeah.
No, but I think with my family, it was a little bit different. I was the first child. So my family is structured in a very different way. My mom is the oldest on her side, and my dad is the youngest on his side.
Uh,
So I am the oldest child on my mom's side, which is like I'm the oldest cousin. So I'm
mhm,
Kira Didi for most people. And on my dad's side, I'm the second youngest, with my brother being the youngest. But I'm the youngest girl. So, being the girl, being the oldest and the youngest at the same time, and then getting diabetic, and then also, like, now they tell me this, and now I openly admit to it, also being somebody who just kind of, like, I know how to just go and grab love. Like, I know how to, like, just like give love. So when you give love, you get love, right? So I am that person who's just like always like bubbly and like there and all of that.
um,
So it was always like I would always be the center of attention in whatever like room or capacity I'm going in, just out of sheer thing of who I am as a person. And while I think you're right, but me and my brother or my family have actually never really thought about my brother picking up on these like life changing immediately and like having to like alter it around. But that's also because I took on the responsibility for my diabetes very early on, and I didn't really let my family see the struggles that came with it.
mhm,
I internalized those struggles, I didn't talk about them. The first time I started talking about the fact that, you know what, I am struggling with this was 2 years ago when I wanted to, like, essentially start moving back to India. So subconsciously, I knew that I want to start moving back, but I wasn't ready to talk about it because I have my business there. We've invested money. There was so many other things, personal life things going on. So my mom came and then she really saw that I was in depression and I was not doing okay. And that's when she started to like pull me out. And that's the first time I think in my life where I started to reach out and talk about like I'm not doing okay. Like something is off. Something is not okay. Something is not working. And with my brother, being a boy in like a alpha male household, that changed things. And for him, frankly, I've been so blessed with a brother who understands what I need constantly. Like when I started my Instagram, he was my biggest supporter. My family was still not ready for me to be a public figure because they're very private people, so they don't like this whole public aspect. And I'm a very public person. But he was the biggest champion that I had. And he's like, guys, she was born to do this. And I don't know why we're not like letting her do this for like the longest time. And we need to let her be her person. And even till date, he wants to make my life easy. He tries he's working very, very hard right now because he wants to make sure that I don't have to worry about things in life. And I don't have to like so that I can work because I want to work and it's fun for me, and not because I have to stress about my medicines or I have to stress about this or I have to stress about that. So in that regard, he's really picked up on that older brother role, and I would never admit it to his face, but I just admitted it to the world. But that's what
yeah,
it is.
your little brother is your big brother. Go ahead and
Yeah,
say,
he
I'm
always
going to
wanted
say,
to be, but he can't be because in a lot of ways I'll be like, shut up. But in this way of like taking care of me, it's really nice to see him grow into that person because it takes a while for a younger sibling to really understand the nuances that go around with you being chronically ill. I think he's only understanding that in the last few years.
right. As we do wind down, well, first, brother, she just gave you a lot of like gems, like for real. She just bigged you up. That's what we say here. She bigged you up a lot. Like she put you on this platform, and as much as she says, like y'all may have fought, bickered, little things,
Yeah,
she loves you more than life itself, and we know that. And
yeah.
she admitted it today.
I'm
Even
not
though
sending him
she,
this thing.
it,
He's gonna
it,
go up
look,
in the seventh heaven.
look, even though she said, I don't want to admit it. She admitted it. But
Yeah.
just, yeah, great support system again. So as we wind down, I do have two questions I wanted to ask you. Like I told you, this is an organic conversation where we just feed off of each other, and that's how it's
Yes.
supposed to be. Um, could you please give some advice, or is there some advice you could give to someone who's either newly diagnosed or the family of someone that's newly diagnosed because you've lived this experience for 20 years, something you've experienced or any knowledge that you could share with them?
I think the first thing that I would tell anybody newly diagnosed, and I did it when I was, I think, the first time I counseled somebody newly diagnosed, I was 11 and a half, I believe. And over the years, I've done it for a lot of people. But the one thing that you have to accept pretty much from the get go is this is your life. The longer you fight it, the harder it is going to be. So I guess acceptance of your diagnosis is the first advice I give to people, that this is the reality. You can either choose what you make with it or you can crib about it. Regardless, it is your life, and whatever choices you make will be your own. But A, accept it, and B, know you can really easily live with it. There is no hindrances. I mean, sure, there are hindrances, but there are not calamities. Let's put it that way, right? If you manage your disease properly, if you keep on track with everything, you'll be fine. And the third advice that I would give, which I wish I had done, which I have not, pick a sport, pick anything active that you can make into your passion. Because if you can do that and stay active, that is the one thing that will literally make or break your A1C. And I've seen that change in myself because the last year, so I've always been in and out of the gyms. And in the last year, in fact, actually, technically in the last like 9 months, I've lost about 17 kgs, which is about, say, about 32 pounds, something like that, I think. Yeah. So I've lost that much weight, and the only way I've done it is through working out. And frankly, I'm somebody who used to hate the gym. I mean, not hate the gym. I enjoyed the gym, but I didn't seek it. And food was what was seeking out every time I was feeling emotions, despite being diabetic. And now every time I feel some type of way, I go to the gym or I dance. I do one of those two things, and I've made my life revolve around that. So pick a sport, pick an activity, pick something, pick dance, pick gymming, pick swimming, pick anything you like really that is active, and just ensure you're doing it every day for the rest of your life, because it will really help.
It will really help. Because Kira, you said about 32. I'm gonna let you know. 17 kgs is closer to about 37 pounds.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
you're doing a damn thing. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
so last Jan, actually, when I was still in America, trying to get out of the grasp of America, I was at about 101 kilos. And I never admitted it to my dad. I would always say, no, no, I'm not over 100. I'm not over 100. But there were a couple of days that I was over 100. So last Jan was when I was that weight. And then I came to India. I went through surgery. I went through bed rest. I went through multiple falls. And then in August, September, when life really hit rock bottom with personal, with professional, with everything, that's when I just really made the gym so-called my, I don't want to say the word on camera, but I literally did. And that is that, and today is today. And from August, I was about 95 kgs in August, and I'm down to like 81, 82 right now. So I'm really happy. I'm a better person. My diabetes is better controlled, everything. So I guess the one advice that I would really give somebody newly, so three advices: accept your diagnosis, make sure that you exercise, you find whatever you love, and you heed to that. And what was the third advice I gave? I forgot. Sorry.
Look,
It's in the recording somewhere. You'll figure it out.
I'll edit it in.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah,
so like that would be my three things that just, like it's your life, make it or break it, right?
make it or break it. Seriously, it is your life. Again, you didn't ask for it, but you owned it.
Yeah.
It may
Yeah.
have taken 15 plus years, but
Yeah.
you still owned it. It took me 15 plus years
Yeah.
before I,
Oh, I remember. So, three advices: accept your reality, accept your diagnosis, find your tribe, and make sure you have a good support system. And C, make sure that you find an exercise or find some sort of active movement that you love, and you make sure that you hold on to it for the rest of your life. Yeah, those would be the three advice.
so I don't have to edit it in.
You don't have to edit it.
Oh man, Kira, this has been an amazing conversation. I'm great to have been able to be welcomed into your door, into your home, and have a sit down and have a conversation with you. Because
Yeah.
again, after I didn't even like dive deep into who you were as a person. I just truly like you mentioned something during this episode about how bubbly you are. I truly just took a glimpse and I was like, Her spirit is so high, and people need to see and know that because, again, your representation matters. Like, you're an amazing, beautiful person,
Thank you.
inward and
Really kind.
outward. Seriously, you are. And
Thank you.
you're welcome. You're truly welcome. But I do know 20 years ago, you were diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. And we see the research, we see the science, we see how things are changing, like with our automatic insulin delivery systems. Like we have this artificial pancreas and everything now. Like so much has changed. 10 years ago, no one would have thought this. 50 years ago, no one would have thought about the pumps and the CGMs. 70 years ago, they would have not thought about the modern day faster acting insulins, the
Yeah.
basal and the fast acting. Um, Someday, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but in the foreseeable future, hopefully, there will be a cure. There, and that cure, hopefully, it looks the same for everyone and it's available for everyone so that we can all celebrate together and that truly we'll be able to even explore more together, do more.
100%.
Just think about it. Like you live a life where you're able to fill up my entire, let me see this. Oh, you can't see it. You're able to fill up my entire notebook. Like you're living that life. And without diabetes, you'll be able to fill up many more pages. Seriously. So I do want to ask you on the day that true cure is here, Kira, and you look across all your feeds and everyone's like, my diabetes is fully gone. You don't have to worry about any immunosuppressants. You don't have to worry about
Mm.
anything rejecting, such as an organ transplant or any of those things. Diabetes is just gone fully. You still have your community, still have your peers. Y'all are still able to get out and put boots to the ground and do everything you need to do to help out the next community of people with chronic health conditions. On
Yeah.
that day, you find out that you've been fully cured of living with type 1 diabetes. What do you do?
Honestly, so crazy. Not to be a negative Nancy, but like it's really hard for me to imagine that.
No.
I don't know why, because it's just been the world that we live in. But if I was fully cured, I think the first place I'm very religious.
Okay.
So the first place I would go to is like my temple and just kind of thank, not just, and this is going to sound very like, oh my God, whatever, but not just for me, but for more than me, the people that like couldn't afford it, couldn't afford to live with the luxuries that I live with when it comes to like management of my disease, right? So I think being grateful for that would be literally the first thing I do. The second thing I would do would probably just eat like every sweet possible. Like, I know this is so cliche, but I would literally just like have a binge fest with Netflix and like everything I could possibly eat without thinking like two times about it, and the best wine in the world, and just like chilling and enjoying and just not thinking about that bolus.
Think about all those naked showers.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah.
Look, like,
My God, if somebody just hears this part of that conversation
I
and
know.
nothing else, they're gonna be like, "What was this conversation?"
I'm just thinking like you'll be able to take yourself on the best date you could ever imagine. Like you talking about the food, the Netflix, the wine, like truly just being able to celebrate you.
No, it's really funny. Like, I'm very body positive, and like I did a swimwear shoot recently in Dubai. I was in Dubai last week, and I did a swimwear shoot, and both my pods are visible. Like, well, my Dexcom is on one arm, and my Omnipod is in the other arm, and I'm not very conscious about it. Like, I'm like totally like chilling with
Mhm.
it, right? And I think when the world changes, it's gonna be like I don't have to think. Like, even though I was not thinking about it, like I was thinking about it, and I think that would be a nice thing to not think about, because nobody's really looking at you like you have something. But having said that, there is also positives to it, and I have to mention this because it's a very important thing that happened last week in Dubai itself. And I have much respect for the culture, for everything.
Mhm.
But I was in the mall and I was walking and I was wearing something sleeveless. And Dubai is very metropolitan, so you can wear what you want, you can do what you want. And I had my Omnipod on one arm and I had my Dexcom on the other arm. And these two ladies stopped me, and they were two Arabic ladies, and the mother and the daughter. And the moment they approached me, they said, "Sorry, we're sorry to bother you." And the moment this conversation started, I knew it was going to be about my pumps. Like, I just, sometimes you just know, and I knew. And the lady goes to me that, my daughter is diabetic, and, she goes to school and it's really hard for me because I can't manage. Where did you get this? Da 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 da. And thankfully, before moving out of America, I had done my research into Omnipods and Dexcoms being available in Dubai, because they are not available in India as of right now. So I knew about like how to guide them, how to tell them, how to do everything. So while this question was supposed to be a positive thing, this was also a positive thing that comes from me wearing my devices, is that people approach me and I can actually guide them through to the right things. And it felt so amazing to me that that happened. So yeah, so all of that, I would be grateful for all of this.
And we are grateful for you because you are the sweetest mango.
Thank
And
you.
on that
That is
note,
really sweet.
my sister Keerat, I truly thank you for joining me on the Chronically Will podcast, where we have real conversations with community that needs to be heard. Because Keerat, you are someone that truly needs to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I had a lovely time speaking to you as well. And thank you for having me on your platform and letting me share all my little blitter blabber.